welcome to the Kelly Roach Show, a place for no fluff, easy to implement, 20-minute or less business and leadership lessons to help you build a sustainable business that scales. Let's get started. In today's show, we're breaking down the number one thing that you need to focus on to thrive during a recession or economic downturn. So as business owners, as intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs, there are always so many things coming at you all day long, every single day, pinging and beeping and dinging and poking and prodding and saying, look at me, I'm the most important thing. I am the solution to your problems. I am going to be your savior. I'm going to be your thing that makes all your dreams come true, right? And that is true whether the economy is booming and expanding or whether it is contracting and going backwards. We all know at this point that, we are in an economic downturn, and this is probably going to continue for quite some time into the future. I've told all of my students, and I'll continue to reiterate it, that, it is very important that you plan and expect that we will be operating in a contracting market for at least another year and a half minimum, potentially longer. But my expectation is that we will be operating in a downturn probably through all of 2024 and into 2025. And I think it's really important to openly acknowledge that, because when you openly acknowledge something, you can reset your energy and refocus your mentality, not around just making short-term changes that are band-aids, but instead really understanding, okay, how do I win at this game with this new set of rules? I want to say that again. The question to be asking yourself is, how do I win at this game with this new set of rules? Okay. And so instead of putting a Band-Aid on and trying to get through the month and trying to do whatever you can do just to get through that moment, it's like, no, you have to reset the entire game board. You have to reset your entire mentality and focus so that you can thrive and create something that can sustain you through this period. And so I think people are always asking the question, well, what is most important during this time that's going to get me through this, right? And, in any business in the service world, like I specialize in service-based businesses. You all know this. All of my companies, except for one, the Courageous brand, is in retail and education. All of my other companies are completely service-based businesses, and it's what I specialize in teaching. Mastering social media is the number one thing that is going to get you through this, because it is the super highway of where attention is focused globally. Even if you look at the record number of people that are canceling cable, that are not watching television anymore, that are unsubscribing from all of those formal channels for consumption, where are all those eyeballs going? They're going to YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Okay. So number one, the focus is on social media. It's where people are spending their time, and it's how people are spending their money, right? People are spending their money on products, programs, services, and people that they discover via social media. You go out in your main street, you go out in downtown, and every day you're going to see more retail locations closing. Why is that? Because people are buying online instead. And because that business model is so unbelievably expensive to sustain that people are moving online. Now, being on social media is not the same as mastering social media. And this episode is equally important if you're an intrapreneur as if you're an entrepreneur. Because if you're an intrapreneur and you want to keep your job, you need to master social media. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to keep your business, you need to master social media. Because at the end of the day, all companies are going to need to master claiming attention in order to sell. You can't sell something to someone if they're not paying attention to you. You cannot make a transaction successfully if someone has not consumed or read or received or understands your offer. So the worst time to sell is when you need to sell. Right? The worst time to need to master social media is when you need social media, right? here's the deal, okay? Social media is not like something where you just say, I'm having a down month and I know I've done a really crappy job on social for the last year and a half, but I need to make a sale today. So let me go throw up a post about my workshop that I'm having and hope that people show up for it. I see a lot of people that think that if they just check the box of putting posts up every day, that they're going to build something. Wrong. Couldn't be more wrong, especially in this environment. Social media begins with the word social. Which kind of insinuates that there's going to be a two-way interaction. There's going to be an exchange, right? And what I see is a lot of people that want to use and abuse social media to make withdrawals, but they ain't making any deposits. And that's a big problem. That's a very, very big problem. And so today's episode is your wake-up call to understand that attention is moving more and more from other mediums to social media. In order to gain the attention of your buyers, they are on social media. I hear a story from people every day of the week that the high-end affluent buyers are not on social media. Wrong. You're wrong. They consume podcasts. They consume content, they observe your brand, they're watching everything that you do, okay? Those high-end buyers, they may not be chatty Cathy, they're not commenting on your posts, they're not engaging on your videos, they're not responding to your message in Messenger, but you better believe they're taking a look-see and they're making lots of decisions based on what they see, okay? And so they are passive consumers, but they are there. They are there. Any market that you want to sell to virtually in the world is there, right? Billions of people are there, okay? So a couple things about understanding how to thrive in this market. If you're an employee of a small business and you are not posting, engaging, networking, and booking calls from social media on the daily, you're going to put yourself at risk. And I'll tell you why. It's not because your employer is this big, bad, mean person that wants to fire you. It's because if you're not contributing, they're not going to be able to afford to keep you. Okay. I always say I am about radical transparency. And whether you're a person from my team that's listening to this, or whether you're a person from someone else's team listening to this, if you're an employee of a small business and you are not actively getting involved with social media, you are not actively in the game, building relationships, networking, and booking calls, there's going to come a moment where most likely your employer is not going to be able to keep you. And again, it's not because they don't like you. It's not because they don't value your skill set. It's not because they don't love you as a person. It's not because they don't want you on the team. There's not going to be any money. Okay. So that's number one. If you're an employer, you're a business owner, and your brand has been on social media, you've been posting on social media, but there's no two-way exchange happening. There's no networking. There's no relationship building. You're not requesting and booking calls on social media. You are not pulling people into conversations every single day from social. Once again, you're going to struggle, and it defeats the purpose. Why are you even on social media if it's not converting into anything? And I know a lot of people have resistance around this because they think they know a better way, or they would rather spend their time in another way, or they say, I'm not a social media person, or I don't like social. I'll be really honest with you guys, and I've had this conversation on the show many times. I wouldn't even have a social media account if I didn't do business on social media. I strictly use social media for business. Pretty much always have. I had a Facebook account. I basically never posted on it until I started using it for business. So I get that mentality, but you can't afford to not understand that this is where business is being done. You can't afford to sit on the sidelines and expect your business to grow without engaging. And if you're a business leader, I don't care whether you're a business leader in a company or you're a business leader of your own company, you have to get off the sidelines and get in the freaking game. You need to make moves. And I want to be really clear when I say make moves and make money and master social media, I am not talking about you throwing up a post every day. I'm not talking about you throwing up a reel every day. I'm not talking about you throwing up a post a couple times a day. I'm talking about the 4 buckets of what makes social media actually monetize, right? And that's posting compelling content. That's networking with people online. That's engaging with the people that comment on your posts and engaging on the posts of the people that you want to work with. It's actually spending time doing outreach on social media to your network. It's inviting people directly to take an action. It is making offers on social media consistently and regularly. It is making sure that the people that are connected with you online are very, very clear on what it is that you do, how to get in touch with your team, and what next step to take. Okay. So there are many components of this, but if you want to know, like, Kelly, if you could give me one piece of advice, like, how can I get my business to grow in a downturn? Master social media. Master social media like your life depended on it, because your income does. And those of you that are listening to the show today that have been kind of phoning it in a little bit, I'm not calling anybody out. You can do that for yourself, but you've been posting, or maybe you've been paying an agency to post for you, but you're still not actively participating, right? You're not engaging, you're not networking, you're not following up with leads, you're not sending outbound messages, you're not engaging back and forth in the feed, you're not connecting with new people. I see this all the time. I see people posting on social media every day, and yet they're not growing their audience, and they're not doing the networking, and they're not doing the social part of social media. And therefore they're posting to the same 100 people every single day. And those 100 people aren't even necessarily people that are relevant to what it is that they're posting about. So I want you all to challenge yourselves to simplify your focus down to, where is business being done? What are the elements of how business is being done in this space, on this platform, that are going to take people down a path from know to like to trust to buy? Where are you doing well? Where are you falling short? And how can you commit to going all in on mastering the whole path? And that's the thing I want you to take away from today's episode. It's not about showing up. It's not about, oh, I do my weekly live show. Cool. What do you do pre? What do you do during? What do you do post? What is the follow-up? Are you booking calls from it? Are you repurposing it? Are you resharing it? Are you networking afterwards with the people that viewed it, that watched it, that engaged on it, right? Again, doing the thing is not enough. It's what are you doing to do the thing and then carry that full circle to actually get a result, to actually get an outcome. Right? This is not an environment in which you can skate on the surface and expect good results. And so it's going to require more of you. It's going to require far more from an engagement standpoint. And if you're a salesperson, or you've been a salesperson, or you're the business owner that is the salesperson, I'm here to tell you that selling consistently the same amount in this market as what you were selling last year, the year before in that market, it's going to take far more engagement. It's going to take far more relationship building, and you're going to have to work a lot harder to get eyeballs on your offer, which means that you may need to do a lot more outbound messaging. You may need to do a lot more follow-up where you're actually pushing the content to people's inboxes and making it really easy for them to consume. Okay. Everything that we're talking about here is really, really basic stuff. It's basic stuff that anyone who wants to succeed can master. But it's one of those moments of decision where you have to really decide, are you going to be the person that barely survives, or are you going to be the person that thrives? When I was an employee and we were going through the crash in 2008 and 2009, you better believe that every ounce of my mindset, my focus, my energy, and my time was dedicated to putting money back in the business's bank account, because I knew I'm not at risk if I'm producing more than what I'm costing and I'm adding value. But if you're in a role where you're not doing that, and I don't care whether your manager is telling you that you have to or not, if you're in a role and you're not doing that, that's a problem. I'm telling you, even the nicest manager in the world, they're not going to have the money unless your manager is going to pull out of their personal bank account to fund you doing a job that doesn't produce profit. I wouldn't rely on that as being the decision maker in terms of whether or not you need to get in the game and contribute to profit, because every business is going to be running lean. Every business is going to be running lean, and it is going to be super crucial that if you want to thrive, whether you're a CEO, whether you're a business owner, you're a business leader, you're an employee, you're an entrepreneur, get in the game. Get in the game. Get on social media. Book calls every day. Make deposits in the bank every day. If your payroll's coming out every 2 weeks, or your dividends are coming out every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, put something in the bank. Because if you don't put something in the bank, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, uh-oh, today's payroll day and there ain't nothing in the bank to pull from. And I know this is like a hard conversation. I know this is like not what you're going to go listen to on other podcasts right now. And I know this is not what everyone wants to hear, but I'm here as your mentor. I'm here to walk you through the reality of where we are, where we're going, and what you can do to thrive in it. And mastery of social media is a make or break, do or die, non-negotiable right now. And I don't care what your job title is. I don't care what your business is. I don't care how you've done business over the last X number of years. We see so many businesses shutting down because they are still reliant on the old methods that they used a few years ago that are just not working anymore. They're just not working anymore. So if you listen to this episode today and you're like, wow, I need to learn social media. I need to understand mastery of social media. Obviously, inside our coaching consulting company, the Business Advisory, we teach this. But before you would even come to apply to work with us and even think about working with us, you need to make the decision as to whether or not you're going to make that commitment to do what it takes to thrive. Because we can show you what to do. We can show you how to do it. We can provide you all of the instruction and training and feedback and direction and clarity that you need to make these power moves and to get the results that you want. But you have to make the decision that you're committed to thriving and doing what it takes, not trying, but committing to doing what it takes on social media to thrive in this environment. I don't know of a single business right now that is thriving that is not masterful of social media. And I don't know of a single team right now that's having any level of success in their service-based business without mastery of social media. What I am seeing is people who's made their big announcement a year ago, 2 years ago, how they're leaving Facebook and how they're leaving social media and how they're not using social anymore in their business. I see them coming back. I can tell you that I'm seeing that very regularly. I see those same people who made their huge proclamations about how they're done with social and they're going to run their evergreen offline. I see them coming back. I see them in the stories selling. I see them posting in the feed about their workshops because they understand what I'm telling you right now. And they tried it. They tried it another way and they're back. So you don't need to make that mistake. You can make the decision for yourself right now to create that mastery that all begins with your own commitment. And then when you commit, you're going to find a way. Once you're committed, you're going to find a way. Whether you come to me and you get training or whether you go figure it out on your own watching YouTube videos, I don't care. But I just want you to make the commitment, because once you make the commitment, you're unstoppable. Once you make the commitment, you will find a way because you're going to move from trying to committing. And that is what being a business champion is all about. You are a champion. You are a champion, and you can create whatever level of success you want in your business, but you need to have real talk with yourself, and you need to commit to the things that are going to get you the outcomes, not be busy trying, but be fully committed to outcome and aligning behavior with that. So let's go out there today. Let's show up. Let's engage. Let's powerfully proclaim our message, and let's invite people to take action. Have a great rest of the week.